The CUT test will actually test for cutoff. And this is a very popular test, especially if you wanted to take a look at data that is happening in one quarter or even maybe 1 month or maybe even 1 week before year end in relation to the periods prior. So you might want to look at 3/4 of data to 1 quarter, 11 months of data to 1 month, etc. And the goal of this, I mean, you could do this yourself and using some of the other tests that we've talked about, but what I like about this test is you can enter in the information, and then this script will take over from there. That the key part of the script is that we're using the CTOD function, so character to date function, and that CTOD function is going to change the actual date from a character to a date. So again, we're going to take a look at that. Now you can select whatever time frame you want because you actually enter the time frame into the data itself. You could do it manually, but this one is going to do it for you automatically. Now in ACL, we're going to take a look at the actual script and more importantly, the dialog box that asks for the date information. So we're going to take a look at this beginning period. So this is the beginning date. Year, month, day is how we'd like it, the ending date, and the last cutoff period date. So with those 3 dates, we can figure out what's the beginning of the period, when does the cutoff start, and when does the end of the period happen. So it's cutoff to end that we're looking at in relation to beginning to cutoff. Now, when you enter that information into the dialog box, it's going to save that information as a ASCII field. Now, just over here, I have some if statements in the summarize command. And those if statements will take, again, CTOD, change the character to a date, using that first character field, and formatting it as we had in the dialog box, year, month, day. And same thing is true with the other dates, the cutoff dates and the end dates. And once you have that information, you can use that as part of your if statement here. So again, this first data test or first summary is going to look for the beginning information. So it's anything that's after the beginning date or equal to the beginning date and less than or equal to the cutoff date. And then we're going to take a look at anything after the cutoff date going to the end of the period. And that'll be the customer end information. Those two tables will then be joined together, taking the customer end information first, taking the beginning information second. And we are going to be doing this in a primary, secondary fashion to ensure that we have both tables established. Now, technically speaking, we've already summarized these files and pre-sorted them, so they are already summarized on, so we technically don't even need to do this pre-sort, and I'll just add here a sec sort for secondary sort, but it's always a good idea to leave it in there anyway, so I like to leave that in there. Last but not least, we are going to calculate a customer number and name, and again, we need to complete this defined field in this fashion if the customer name or number exists in one table but not the other. So if it doesn't exist in the prior customer name, it does not exist. If it's blank, we need to put the current customer name, otherwise put the prior customer name. So just taking a look at the data itself and this join command, I wanted to note one more thing, which is taking a look at renaming fields. So in this case, we've taken the customer number and we're renaming it as current customer number. Customer name as current customer name. Prior customer number is, this one here, which is from the prior table, the beginning table. We're going to change that to prior customer number by using this as statement with quotation marks around those fields. To run this test, we're just going to right click and run the cut test. And we're going to select the invoice file first, and select the invoice amount field, the invoice date field, customer number again because I don't have the customer name, and now we're presented with this timing. I know that this data is from 1998, so we're going to go 0101, 1998, 1231, which is the ending period, and then the cutoff date is 1998, and I'm just going to use 1/4 of data, so we'll say 1001. And again, I know that it's greater than this number, so I'll put in 0930, and anything greater than that will show up in the cutoff period. After we run this, we now have a full to last period sum analysis. The current sales is the current period, the ending quarter, the prior sales, the total sales, which is the adding of the two together, current and prior, as well as a percent for any sort of change amongst the periods. So that can be used to take a look at situations where the current sales are either much higher or much lower. Again, there's a lot of negative activity happening in this last period, which is kind of weird. But anything that's much higher or much lower, you would want to take a look at those customers. And the best way to do that is to take a look at the percentage of current to the total sales and just get a sense of what makes the most sense here. Again, 207, because it's it's having some issues with the fact that it's so high of a negative plus a positive, and it leads to so low of a negative number as the total sales.